Seuss once again with yet another guide for new players here in Wild Terra 2. And we had exciting news this week because the long-awaited patch to fishing actually dropped. So what I've got for you today is just a real quick introduction on the new fishing in Wild Terra 2 since the patch. Now realize that it just dropped within the last like 24 hours. So I'm not going to give you all the patterns and tricks and stuff. I'm just going to give you the basics to help you get started as a new player fishing. All right. So as you can see, it says fishing guide after update on our little title screen. And remember, all of my videos are dedicated to Extra Life, which is part of the Children's Miracle Network, which helps kids with like chronic conditions like cancer, end-stage renal disease, muscular dystrophy, things like that. Helps them get things like board games and puzzles and stuff, which allow them to be, more like kids of their own age. But it also pays for equipment and research towards these various conditions to help solve them. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. We're on Wild Terra 2 on my main account. And as you can see, we're right here at one of the bridges on the way into Hartford. Now, here's the fishing vendor. He's going to be the guy you're going to want to check with when you first get started because they have added some beginner quests to him. And when you check him daily, you're going to get some additional quests for fishing. And they actually pay out pretty good. So go ahead and follow the quest line to get started on fishing because that's going to help you. But I'm going to give you some basics too, which will kind of follow along with the quest line. The first thing they're going to ask you to do, I've already done the quest, so of course I'm not going to have them. The very first thing they're going to have you do is make a crude fishing pole. For that, you're going to need poles. And so you're going to go into your craft menu by hitting C or this button right here. And I've already brought up crude fishing pole, which is in the survival set. Now you need a survival skill of 10 to do it. So that means you need up to at least a 5 to really successfully make the fishing pole because it's -5 and +20 for skills. But as long as you got at least a survival of 5, you should be able to make a fishing pole. And it only takes one pole to do. I'm not actually going to make one because I don't need it. I've actually got a better quality fishing pole. If you look, there's a couple of things. There's the wooden fishing pole, which has been there, but that requires staves and leather strips, so it's a little bit more advanced, and it uses carpentry to make, not survival. And then finally, you've got your lucky fishing pole, which is the new exotic, and it has a whole lot of high-end requirements, including 2 of the new things that you didn't even start getting until after this update, the black and the white pearl. So, but it's gonna give you even a better chance to fish. It's the lucky fishing pole. It's one of the exotics. And if you look at that, it gives you a 10% double catch chance, plus a 216.2% fishing pole. For me, at my fishery level, which is only, I'm only like fishery level 11. It actually requires fishery level 20 to use this pole. But I can fully use this pole because it only requires fishery 10. And so that's what I'm using. You will be starting out with the beginning pole, which has no requirement. So you can use it as soon as you can make it. Anyway, your first fishing bait, and it'll tell you that after you make your pole and turn in that quest, is going to be worms. And of course, we get worms by digging up clay in the various areas around the game. Every time you dig up clay, a side effect is you also get worms. There are a couple of other creatures and stuff that will give you worms too. Skeletons will sometimes give you worms. And it used to be that the infected boars would give you worms, but they no longer do that. After this update, they now give you maggots, which is a whole different, more advanced fishing bait that you typically use for higher end fish out of the rivers or for sea fishing. In fact, I've got a set of bait set up at the bottom of my thing so you can see. I've got worms, then maggots, then peas, and also one of the fish that you catch, lower end fish, the crucian, can then be turned around and used as bait. And then I've got my fishing pole, which happens to be master crafted by me. I just recently master crafted this one, so it gives me a better chance of catching fish. Now, to catch a fish, first you got to equip your pole, double click or click on and equip, and then equip your bait, and that will go in your shield spot, not your ammo spot. And that is, again, that's just like the previous fishing. And then you got to go to a fishing spot. Now I'm right here on the bridge, and as you can see, a lot of them are fighting crabs from fishing. You want to set your fingers on your E, R, and T buttons, just like before, but now you're not going to necessarily have to memorize the patterns, because that's one of the things they've done with the fishing update. You cast your line by hitting your right mouse button, and you hear a plop, and now you get a little graphical interface. You see it says wait, that's green, and then red was green, and then E was green, and that's because I had previously gone through and got it. They won't be green the first time you go through, because you will not have learned the patterns. But now you will start to get its successful patterns as you go. And what you do is experiment, going through and learning the patterns for the different fish and bait combinations. Now you do get some clues based on the words that come up above here when a fish bites. So you get bite, and usually you want to wait on that first bite. The next is going to be, nope, not T. It was an E for that one. That was red, which meant last time I messed up. And it's going to tell you that, and it's always going to go back to the last time for that particular fish routine. So we'll go ahead and cast. And if it gets like about halfway to fish and it doesn't do it, then you probably don't do it. And then R, and then E. And I caught a crucian. And I caught a crab, and it went to attack Terra over there, which is actually my guild master, so that's kind of funny. There you go. Let Kara have the scrounge from that. Okay, and let's put our fishing pole back in line in place of her sword. Now, that will happen sometimes. You draw, and for some reason, instead of it aggroing me, it aggroed over to Karen. It will do that sometimes. And somebody else fishing next to you could aggro on you, so be wary of that. Now, what you're going to do here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to cast. Now, you see your buttons. There's your wait and your 3 buttons. And you see wait, and it's green, which means wait was the right thing. And then R is green, which means it was the right thing that was done before. And then E is green. And I caught a crucian. See, and that's how the system works. Now, if you cast and if you look at your scroll, it'll tell you what bait and what fish are at that particular fishing hole, too. And that was a good time to do it because I'm not actually getting a bite this time. So it's good that I can sit here and just kind of look at this. And you can see that you can get a few different types of fish at this particular fishing spot with this kind of bait. But you can see worms are not the only bait here. You can get maggots, peas, shrimp, albernas, crucians, and roach fish are all possible bait that you can catch here. And then the various fish you can catch: a crucian, roach, carp, trout, pike, catfish, and Ida. So now, what I'm going to do now is change bait. We're going to put in a maggot and cast and see if we get another combination. So there's a wait, and then T, and I caught an albernas fish. And that's the only one I'm going to try to catch with that one. And then we can try with peas. And I hate it because it reorganizes my inventory every time it does this, but that's okay. And P's, we'll do a different kinds of fish. Okay, it's got about this far, so we're probably not going to get a bite. So you can go ahead and click your left mouse button and start again. There you go. There was a bite. And then the wait again is correct. Then T. Then E. And we caught a carp. And what you do is you're going to experiment with the different combinations of the buttons. If you get a button wrong, it'll be red. Next time you go through that sequence, if you see a red button or a red wait, then you know don't wait or don't do button, try one of the other buttons. And eventually you'll have all of the recipes kind of saved, because it saves a different one for each fish routine. But you will occasionally mess up an already saved routine. You'll have to go back and fix it. So you will kind of want to try to learn some of your fishing patterns. Now that's what you had to do in the old system. In the new system, it's a little bit easier because it does keep those. Now, I'm going to gallop down to the shore for the sea so we can do a little bit of sea fishing. If you hit M, you'll see where we are on the map. We're going to head on down to the coastline down at the shore there so we can do some sea fishing so you can see the difference between sea fishing and river fishing. Now they're about the same. And then there's also dungeon fishing, which we're not going to cover here. But you get limited time in the dungeons to fish. I can't see what I'm running into because I got the map in the way, so I'm going to get rid of the map. You can keep walking with the map going. Along the way, if I was to see like a clay deposit, I could pick up some more bait. Like there's one right over there, but we're not going to bother to do that to save time. But remember, anytime if you've got your shovel on you, you can collect bait at the clay areas of the map. Let's see where we're at here. We are, okay, we're here. So I think we actually want to go this way. There, this way. We're going to go out to the coast. All right, and get off our horse. Okay. Now, here, you can use some different bait. You can still use worms, and I'm going to use this worm right now to sacrifice just so you can see something. Oh, we're not at a good place because if you don't hear a plop and the buttons don't appear, then you're not at a place where you can fish. So move down the coast a little bit and try again. There we go. I'm doing it this time though to see the scroll. We actually got a bite. And E, so we caught a jellyfish, which is very low-end fish, but you use it to make high-end fertilizer. So we're going to do this again and look at the scroll to see what we can get here. You can get jellyfish sprat, capelin, shrimp, sea bass, cod, and black halibut. The bait you can use here is worms, maggots, feather fishing spoons, sprats, capelin, and shrimp. Now, those feathered fishing spoons are high-end. They take a bit to make of several more rare ingredients, including blacksmithing. So they're going to be used to get your higher-end stuff like the black and white halibut. This one only says black halibut, so we're assuming that white halibut has to be fished somewhere else, but it could be a secret one here, because they do sometimes have what they call secret recipes that you have to find out later. Since it just dropped less than 24 hours ago, we don't know everything going on with fishing yet. So we will update. I will update this guide as we go along. Now, better bait for here is to actually use the maggots. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, we may or may not get a bite the first couple of casts, as you know. Better your fishing pole, better your fishing skill, and better your bait, the better you're going to fish. We're going to watch our buttons. So that one says weight green, then E, and I caught a sprat, which could be used as bait as well. Let's cast again. Wait. E. Oh, I hit R instead of E. I screwed that one up. See, now it's going to be R next time that particular fish sequence comes around. So wait. And if I see a red R, I know to hit E, and I will get the sprat. Because I hit the R by mistake. But that shows you how a mistake works. But you can go around and fix it, and it always keeps your last attempt on each individual fish routine. Now, let's see. Let me double check here. As bait, I can use, I cannot use crucian or sprat as, oh yeah, I can use bait, I can use crucian, I can use sprat as bait. So that's what I'm going to do here. I want to try sprat as bait this time. Let's see what we can catch with the sprat. Wait. E. And we caught a simple medicine. So we got one of the event catches. Event catches, you can get anything. You get, we haven't seen everything that can be dropped, but I've gotten like a gingerbread man from the Christmas event. Some people have gotten moonshine or wine. So you never quite know what you're going to get if you get an event catch. So we cast its weight. And then R was wrong and E is also wrong. And unfortunately we have no more sprat, so it tells us that you need more in your left hand. So I would have to pick another bait to go. So we could go ahead and do the maggot again. And possibly catch a shrimp or a sprat that we could use as bait. Doesn't look like we're going to get a bite for this last cast, but that's okay. So that's the basics of the new fishing system. They made it a little bit more graphical. Now, the expansion of the fishing did not just encapsulate fishing. Of course, with new fish came new recipes for things like fertilizer, higher end fishing pole, the one I showed you, the lucky one. Some of the parts from the fish can be used in other jewelry crafting and things. There's an angler's belt that you can get. There's new food recipes, including new buff foods, and they've changed some of the old recipes. So you're going to want to go in and check if you're relying on some of the older information, because there has been some changes. If you go to the crafting window, and one of the best places to check, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. I'm just going to delete this completely. If you go to items and scroll down to cookery, you can look at the new raw dishes. You're going to see there's a raw fish cutlet now, because when you catch fish, you can now butcher them to make cutlets. Like this is a river fish fillet that can be turned into a raw fish cutlet, or there is a raw fish fillet that can use a river fish fillet to make different things for different dishes. You'll also use other fish for other dishes around. And so look through, you'll find a lot of new dishes and things you can make in the raw and cooked food now that the new fishing expansion has come out. So that's something to pay attention to. Anyway, that's a quick tip for this time around. I want to thank everybody again for listening. Remember to like, follow, subscribe. If you've got an Amazon Prime membership, you get a free subscription to Twitch every month, so you can subscribe to my Twitch channel. I'm also copying all of these over to my YouTube channel. I do not have a static YouTube ID yet because I've not gotten enough membership to reach affiliate level, but we're working on it. So if you go over and do the rewatch over on YouTube. Rewatch, like, share, subscribe. I need a lot of viewing hours in order to get affiliate. It's like 4,000 viewing hours in the year. I think it is for me to gain affiliate with 1,000 subscribers, and or 1 million shorts views. If you don't watch the shorts, I mean, if you don't watch the long videos, watch the shorts. 1 million shorts views will get me the qualifications. Either it's like 4,000 regular hours or 1 million shorts, and that will then allow me to monetize over at YouTube, and half of everything will still go to Extra Life from that as well. And the other half of what I make just goes to maintain my equipment and my software registrations, everything, so that I can keep presenting these things for you. So thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Doc. May all your rolls be criticals, or if they're fumbles, may they be epic in the retelling. And as always, in the immortal words of Stan Lee, Excelsior. Thank you for watching.